expect Joel to respond to what happened last night?
He'll be fine.
Is that, do you have discussions with the player after that?
I had a 2-second discussion as we passed ways in the hallway. That's all that needed to be done.
Speaking to the game last night, you mentioned after the game about how great Carter played. Obviously, you guys created a lot of chances, created a lot of shots. You also
28 to 26 in chances.
Yeah. So in terms of the defensive play, was that more just about how skilled the Devils are, or were you guys lacking in some areas?
Oh, a little bit of both. That's a really skilled team. They're banged up and they're still pretty skilled. Yeah, we're going to give up chances. You know, I don't think we were terrible defensively. It's a really good team we played, a really good offensive team. Capitalized on some of our forechecking when we stayed in the zone, and they had a quick break on the second goal. There were certain breakdowns. We had problems with sticks at certain times, but nothing where emergency lights are going off here. Like, holy hell, what's going on? Both teams, it turned into one of those games where both teams created a lot of offense.
I guess speaking to that second goal, I'm just kind of curious as to your evaluation of that, because it ends up being, you know, 2-on-1 the other way with a forward.
Sandy stays too low. Mm-hmm. If it's a second goal, you're talking about Jack Hughes' goal. Yes. He makes a play. He's on the right wing boards. He makes a play across, if I remember correctly, and you can watch him. He lingers and lingers. Yorkie goes down. Yorkie doesn't make a great play in stopping the guy. He just throws it out. I think it was Palat. I forget. But he stays too low. So what happens is we have 3 guys flat. He has got to start back right away, and I think we solve it. But give them credit. He makes a play from the hash mark with Yorkie pinching him. I like to see Yorkie busier and trying to get a stick in the puck. Just throws it out, and they're gone. And 2-on-1, they score.
Do you like that aggressiveness, though?
Yep. I told you, we're going to give up some odd man rushes. We're not going to come off of how we want to play. Prior to that, we had some opportunities to score. We didn't. And that's a key, is that we don't get apprehensive now because an odd man rush here or there. We want to stay aggressive with it.
When you're pressing the offensive zone and defensemen activate, obviously that's a big part of it. How important is it then that your F3, be aware of?
Yeah. TK's there too. He's a little flat, but no defenseman. We can't stay aggressive, and this is kind of the reset from the Rangers game. We can't stay aggressive with pinching or surfing in the neutral zone, closing gaps, taking chances if we don't have our support coming back. For the most part, we were there last night. You know what? I read articles, and when a team loses, they say, we didn't do this, we didn't do that, we were lousy here. Sometimes the team's pretty good you're playing against. Sometimes you have to give credit to the other team, and I will give Jersey some credit. They've got some good young talent there that have taken years to get there, and give them some credit. We are going to stay aggressive.
Do you kind of look at a team like Jersey in terms of the way they, not only the way they play, but also the balance of having, the high-end skill guys and also the depth?
Took them some time.
As a model for what you guys want to be?
It took them some time. We're still in infant stages as far as us building. I remember, I don't want to talk about other teams, but I remember years ago where teams were god-awful and no one was coming to their building. And that team ended up, I think, winning 3 Stanley Cups in 4 years. And, so we're going to – we can't get antsy when you start playing some good games. We win 3 or 4 or 5 in a row, and then it's, well, are they going to add? Or we have to stay – just patient what we're doing here, because we're going to have ups and downs. And we just have to stay patient as far as what we feel is the proper way to rebuild this.
John, with Farin, I'm not looking for specifics or anything, but earlier in the year you talked about hoping to increase his role, his minutes a little bit. As he gets back in, are you still hoping to put maybe more on his plate?
He's going to get a chance, yeah. I'm by that. I'm already moved by it. And he's going to get ready. He'll play with Lotz and Cam as he started last night. He'll get his ice time and get right back at it.
You're still carrying, you're gonna take 12 to Pittsburgh.
Just taking 12. There were no
I
call-ups.
would
Yeah.
imagine you'll probably bring someone on the West Coast.
When we head to, I think we leave Tuesday.
Yeah.
More than likely, yeah. We'll see where our injuries and see where everything's at, but we'll certainly have to bring some depth because we're going to be out west.
How do you balance maybe what you think you need on this team when you make that sort of recall with rewarding guys down there for what they've done to this point? What are those conversations?
Meaning,
Well, you know,
like
let's say,
kids
let's
versus.
say you want someone, Noah Cates is out. Let's say
Yeah.
you want someone, do you want someone that maybe kills penalties?
Yeah.
Or do you want someone that maybe, I didn't want to name names, but maybe a Tuamala who's off
Yeah.
to a really strong start
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Good impression. He's
Played very well. Yeah, but we'll make the decision on which we feel is best for not to stop their development.
Right.
Because sometimes when a guy plays really well in the American League, you want to keep him there and keep proceeding and feeling good about it. And or do we think he's ready for that next step? But it's a good question because do you take you got to juggle. We want to develop our kids, but also if there's a really good guy that may not be in the picture, maybe 3 or 4 years down the road here, there still has to be some of that too within the organization, a little bit of a merit too. Like if I'm a young defenseman down there in Lehigh, I am pissed off that Louis here and played as many games as he did. I'm pissed off. But that's the way it's going to work. It's not going to be given to you. And a couple of people lost an opportunity. And what Louis did is, Louis is a veteran guy. He's kind of in between, and that's why he's out now, because he's kind of in between. But he also showed us that he can give us some games too, when we don't think some other guys are ready. Now, if a younger guy was ready, he'd be getting those minutes probably that Louis got. So it kind of, there's no set thing we're going to go through. We're going to see how guys are playing down there and what we need here and go about it that way.
John, over the last couple weeks, you've praised Ryan Paling a lot for what he's done, moved up the lineup. Obviously, he was moved down to the fourth line last night. What went into the decision to kind of end that experiment with him in the top?
Well, it's not ended. I just thought we lacked energy. I was hoping that line could give us some energy. As it turned out, that gets thrown out the window, And, I went back to that line played really well, too, when I had them together for a while and added some forechecking, which I think our team desperately needed. I think that's what gives this team energy is our forechecking. And so it doesn't mean he's stuck by any means. I'm just going to make decisions daily as far as what the lineup looks like.
The power play had a different look last night with Cam on the point and Sean in front. And what was kind of the mindset between switching things up a little bit, and even in terms of the guys who are normally on the power play, but in their positioning?
Yeah, much better movement without the puck, not stationary. I thought Cam York gave us a much better look than we've had. Really good lateral. As I said last night, I still think there's opportunities that he can shoot the puck, and it's one of the great qualities of point men on power plays now in this league, getting the shot quickly because it shuts down. Teams just block too many shots, and it shuts down very quickly. First power play, we were too slow in recognizing when we could put the puck to net and shut down. So all we did was play on the outside, just play on the outside. As we had a few more minutes during the game, I thought we had much better movement. I thought we used the middle guy. I guess it's called the bumper. That's the new word in the league here, the bumper guy. And used him better to try to get us some movement and got some shots through. I thought Yorkie did a really good job there. It hasn't been good with Sandy. We tried walks. It hasn't been good, and I'm not blaming it on them, but we wanted to try a different look, and hopefully we'll gain some confidence. Tyson scores a couple of goals, doesn't even shoot a puck, and scores a couple of goals. Scores on that during the shootout. Hopefully that keeps on building. Those are the things we're kind of looking for.
We talked to, sorry.
No.
We talked to Igor Zabula yesterday before the game, and he told us a little story about how he had a couple delay game penalties, and Sean Couturier at a practice took him aside and kind of showed him the tricks of the trade of how to make that play without flipping it over the glass. I guess obviously we talk about the impact that Coots can have on the ice, but is that the kind of impact you want to see him having in practice off the ice as well?
It's so important. And I've watched. I even talked to Shazi when Mark Stahl's playing with whoever he's playing with. Shazi told me, he says, I really don't have to say too much to those two when they come off the ice because Mark's talking, and it's so important. We as coaches, we think they're listening to us. Half the time they're not, but they're listening to their teammates. So that's so very important to have a couple of guys like that within this situation where we are as a team with some of the youth hanging around.
John, with the Hathaway call, I know that sometimes afterwards teams will maybe seek for some information or clarity from the league on like what, like the explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Are you past that, or are you guys gonna maybe try to get an answer on like?
It's already been it's a nothing play.
Yeah.
At least I'm not going to give you names. The people have talked to me, talked to the league, said it was a nothing play. And the point there is, and I'm glad the kid isn't hurt. You know, a really good player, a young man in this league. But that's a problem in our league right now. Our players in this league do not put enough emphasis on making sure you're protecting yourself from hits like that, making sure you absorb hits like that, because we've kind of tried to turn this league into a no-hit league, and now people aren't ready to be hit. I think it's a lost art in how you take hits, and I do think, looking at the clip, I think he thinks it's icing. A mistake was made. We've got good refs, we've got good lines, but a mistake was made last night. And what bothers me is we had to suffer for that mistake, losing a player. And but I believe the league, it's a no-go. There is nothing wrong with the play. It shouldn't even been a penalty. But it screams to the athletes in our game, be prepared to be hit, because big hits are allowed. Nowadays, I'm not so sure because everybody puts their arms up when there's a big hit. It makes me sick what goes on in the league here on big hits. That's part of the game.
Can I ask one question?
Go.
Sorry. Where do you think that comes from, the mentality is it how they change the game in terms of how kids are taught now?
I have no idea. I'm talking about the league, and I'm not trying to run down the league. I just think I think we've taken away the policing of the game from the players. I do. With all the new rules, we've taken away the policing of the game. It should belong to the players. And it comes into how the game, we want it all. It's a fast game, which is fantastic. The skill in the game is fantastic. I think some of the rule changes we made have improved the game. But I just don't think we should take the foundation of the National Hockey League out. Hits are allowed. And back in the day, and I'm not trying to go way back, but you know, you got to learn how to take a hit. That's a big play in winning games, is taking a hit to make a play and being braced to take these hits. And if you do have a big hit, you shouldn't have to fight someone 2 seconds later because it's a big hit. That's what I don't get. And not blaming anybody. I don't like where that part of the game's going. And that's the foundation of the National Hockey League. It's a man's game, and I think we've got it convoluted a little bit.